Okay, here we are with another video, this time in my bedroom by candlelight reading some poetry. This is actually the third super section of the Banner of the Broken Cross continuation of the series. I'm just going to dive right into it to reading the poem. This first poem is from Natalie Gabler's perspective. Not a care in the world. We are all together as hearts beating as one. Coming together in secret, reading from books that were banned. About a warrior swept off to sea away from his wife and child. And he forever will stare at these waves. And there are sirens in all of our lives, which we sleep with and fall into their embrace. Never realizing that these same vicious creatures were always planning our demise. Told always to believe and have faith, but I lost all my faith so many years ago. Here we would read words we cherished again and again. We would read over the story of Ulysses, the poems of John Keats, the last words of Shakespeare before his betrayal and execution. All of these words I admired. I had more admiration for these words than anything we were forced to read. Words, even when unheard, invoke power from other worlds. A man fighting for his freedom and that of his nation, until he was betrayed. The smallest gift can transform our lives, a single piece of the produce of this earth. All we are and all we have, and God will take it and transform it into something beautiful and new. Swept away in love with a world which I never experienced. I was never called by this world. Never even dreamed about it. But I knew it had to exist somewhere across the great divide. Somewhere, far away and beyond all space and time. I longed as a soul for the wind that only sometimes I could feel. It passed and then fled from the world for several thousands of years, or at least it seemed, and only after such a long time would it return to me. The wind called my name, carrying with it only rumors of the same world. New York City, a veritable prison. We can only go where we are told, the soldiers wielding glowing iron swords, and we will never escape from the tangled grip of control except when we meet here together and read the forgotten and burned classics together. I had downloaded the files and printed them out, and together all of us would sit together in the basement reading from these books, knowing that I was a brave soul and was ready to fight through storms as our ships tread through them, hoping to fall off the edge of the world and into the great and glorious future which we would share together as a family. Never letting go of the other, holding tightly on the strings that unite us. The air of silence would always flood the world, our hearts drowned in the midst of the cascading flood of rain falling from the sky, which all others were blind to, could only feel the light touch of their skin of these waters. I had always loved water, and I knew that even though gorgeous and terrible as ocean, sea, and rainfall, water was our only hope for life, a true conduit of salvation falling over us and greeting forever in all of its tempests and vast noises as the sea rises and the tidal waves approach us. We could no longer find higher ground. So I embraced these waters forever and submitted to their current. My mind was always filled with every hopeful thought that eventually I would not need to worry about the future of my nation, that someone would approach telling me that everything would from now on be fine, with no need to worry about food, shelter, and flowing, never clogged currents and spouts of propaganda. My heart was free as the open wind, although I could barely feel it, but was enough. I had visions without eyes, I loved without arms to embrace me. I felt joy without a soul to hold. Because somewhere, I don't know where, the connection exists. Envision all the paths I would walk in different shoes. The thrill of the journey to take us anywhere in the world. And my words are always broken. My heart morphs into a new creation and finds its hope amongst its fears. All I ever wanted was to feel whole amongst the brokenness of this world. The trains through this world. And we crave a different world in the storm of the worlds. Come breathe with me as the lights of these trains roar through these worlds. We never board these trains because we are so familiar with books on the floor of the library scattered everywhere, where I saw him, and I asked him what he had learned from them. And he told me that the world would never understand the knowledge of poems, because all we could read were the words made out of smog in the sky. And I always knew that the master of this world was growing, and we knew that the future was going to greet us with all its great grief and throbbing aches growing forever, in a world bent under the banner of the broken cross. We were promised that the future would not be dark, but darkness was all that ever greeted us. Underneath the swell, in search for vibrant song, and not only song, but for a resolution to this same song, so that in the enthralling passion and movement, all of us are motivated to find ourselves amidst shadows that grow forever. I am always at war with invisible forces opposed to my heart. I can only follow my memories to the place where my life began in love. In our journey through the world, almost never stops except for brief moments where my heart grows more painful, is weak, and blown over by anyone who reaches down to touch. The angels that fly through the world no longer visit our world because they have given up all hope for this world. Follow me forever. Our union is greater and simpler, unexplainable yet explained in a touch. Poetry is unexplained, but can only be echoed in the wind, carried by its current, resisted by nothing. I had a dream about a sparrow who led me to his own burrows and called out to me to follow him through the fire of a world which had slipped down into chaos. The smog covering the sky never goes away. It greets us every morning and taunts me, telling me that there is never any way we can see up. We can see up and reach upward toward the heavens. No stars will ever be seen there again. My heart grew numb with passion from bursting out so much, with almost no one to express this passion to. My own power had grown weaker within this world, my veins growing with memories of times that had gone before. All I ever wanted was a place to rest my heart. The currents of the wind within the world greeted me, and always compelled me to move forward in this storm of the worlds. The twisting knife in the backs of those betrayed, the nightmares that find us of being left by the one we love the most. The anthem of my rebel heart will never be extinguished, will always move forward forever in its ecstasy, in its great welcoming of worlds, in its solemn reaching out for all that is more. No regrets in my mind, only passion, a desire to belong to you forever, to hold the bright sunshine of my dreams close to my heart, and to glow on. My every movement was the movement of a dance. My pilgrim soul would move forever through the oceans of the world, searching for a place of rest, and never would find it, because the men who ruled the world never knew its true value, and what they were searching for was not cognizable. And all I knew was that they would destroy everything they touched. The God I never prayed to presided over this world. The heart of mine glowed on forever, through the shade of the world, where no lights would ever touch. The magical power in my heart would never fade. I would never damage of the world which I could no longer feel. Oh my gosh, would nerve damage of the world I would no longer feel. The stone cold heart of this world, whose religion led them nowhere except into darkness. The halls of the world are darkness, and I find home nowhere except in the small pockets of light, which I rarely find. And in these lights we stand, and are exhilarated by the glowing rays which cover my face but are soon gone. And the same ray is never found again. I am forever urged to move forward in this world and greet the sunrise with patience. Although there never comes a light with the power to light up the entire world, all I can hear are the urgent calls for justice within a world that has forgotten justice. We are led away where we never wanted to go. Those who hold the gavel never understood justice, had corrupted the word for it. My weariness within the world grew forever. It was so difficult to find rest anywhere in the world. The very struggle to find a place of rest was a dogfight, which we'd always lose. The world was growing weary each day as well. Walking through New York City, and the streets were empty. The lights of the city could only dimly reach through the smog. The desire of my heart to find warmth, and I had visions in my mind that these streets could be bustling with people and activity, but perhaps that only occurs in other worlds, which I will never find or experience. The life in my veins grows dim, and my heart is filled with frustration which leads to wrath. And I know that I will never hear the song of the sparrow again, its patience waiting for the seasons to pass, so that once again it can sing and build its own family within this world, which is something that I know I may never accomplish within this world. Family is all I want and all I ever desire. There are no crowns which the true kings and queens will wear again, because we are all kings and queens, and forever we will remain unseen. The Dark Lord rules forever from his throne of shadows, and no one can challenge his regime, fight against his darkness. We all are powerless to stop him, and his cruel laws are carried all throughout the world, and never questioned, save by those who find a swift death. The desolate shell in this world is blown over forever by the violence within hearts, and all I crave is water. And some nights we meet together and lock the door, and we read books about the old world before our nation was overwhelmed and controlled by the magisterium. The poems of Shakespeare flooded my heart. We will never be saved, and we have no need to be saved. We will only fall forever into desire and passion, which itself is a bottomless chasm. I slept on this train and desired an escape, but the universe itself had walls. The heavens never open their skies to us. All heaven will do is fade and remain closed, so that we can never see its light. And as I slept on the train, all the worlds passed me, and I could feel the glowing anxiety follow me to a place where families are held in high esteem, the poverty all across the world, as the power is given to those who clench their fists around our necks, squeezing, and we can no longer breathe. The light of the stars forever eclipsed by the unnatural smog. Truth dies forever in darkness, where it is never heard again, never even understood or longed for, because not a soul can hear it, and not a soul can experience it. The train moving forever through these cities, taking me far away from home. The winds of time echo forever. My heart breaks each moment, seeing through the windows memories of past history, of betrayal, of slain worlds. Whole souls destroyed when these worlds were slain. Souls are more valuable and more precious than worlds. I've raised my defenses high, as towers around my heart, so that nothing will ever penetrate them. I will never let a soul touch me. There is torture within the world, and we are controlled and totally swayed by this torture. Hold your heart close to mine forever. Despite your anger, despite your desolate hate that flows through this entire world, we are wounded souls with no power to do what is moral or correct or helpful. All we can ever do is cascade into a circle of self-destruction. And my song forever flows out of me. And my voice lives out forever, as opposition to the demons that grasp the world by its reins and guide it to where it never agreed to tread. My anger forever, my hate was all-consuming, would lead to a war with our bitter hearts against the dreadful king of hell, who I knew would pull us under into the mud, where we would never be able to stand up again. My anthem was all-consuming fire. My vicious encounter within the world led me to believe that no one would ever be lifted up to save us. No one would ever reach up to us in the way of love. We would always be bound to this universe, more constrictive than a prison. We have no mechanism by which we could ever hope to escape it. The storm of the worlds would never open up to us, to allow us to travel through this form to find a new world. Forever, I would listen to the gentle song of the sparrow, and I would hope that it would lead me to a place of rest, and maybe in that place alone I could find justice, could find a place where dreams are found. The romance of lost dreams lasts forever, because we always dream of what the future may hold. If only we weren't grasped by the wrist, and our wrists weren't twisted and broken, so that we could forget our dreams, to escape this world, to find a new one. The heaven we dreamed for was always far from us. The lament of youth is that it passes. But each moment of life is precious. Life is something that is more beautiful than these passing seasons in all their beauty and splendor and color, meshing together into one solid and whole piece. We know that there are indeed no unique seasons, because all of them blend together as one, and have no desire to ever divide themselves from another. The train stopped and arrived at its destination, but I remained asleep and go no further than I've ever gone. But I remained asleep and go further than I've ever gone before. And when I finally awake, I find myself in a city that I was never familiar with. I walk these streets covered in snow and let its soft touch illuminate my heart. All seasons were created by God and are unique, even though they all fade together. And I would never touch anything except what I could immediately see. My desire to find other worlds exploded and blew over, and absolutely consumed my heart. And all I would have is a desire which I knew that I would never escape from, no matter where I ran. This desire would follow me until my very last breath. The snow covered the hood of my coat, and I walked through the city, seeing the soft glow of lights in the buildings where those inside would gather and find warmth, and would glow with their lights when they experienced the closeness of family. The mystical force inside my heart guided me forever to what was beautiful and what I knew inside to be true. I continued walking down the street and saw others warming themselves in fires made inside of trash containers. The world was broken like my heart, like my sea of silence, which I would always surrender to. Descending together into these seas, you grasp my hand as we sink. You hold me close like the power of mania, never willing to let go, never willing to give up on me, never forgetting any of my words, always remembering them in every season, holding on to the mercy of passionate song. The silence that follows us guides to a place of rest, where we can finally lay down our heads and become one with the passion of the stars, the glow of nations coming together at last as one. The future I dreamed of, which I knew I would never experience. At least, not in this world. This world was already too far gone. My visions in this world I have. The teacher in my mind. He tells me things about the future, which I simply cannot believe. He told me that he was the true Noel, and he told me that he was the song that saves. And my memory faded of these things. As the years went on, the sun was going down and the world faded, at least for now, into utter darkness. And we follow this darkness in all its promises. We dream of forever and hold it close to our hearts. My bones grow stronger when the world fades. Our knowledge and our hope grows. Knowing that this darkness is bound by its own deceit, in that it can only last so long because all of its secrets are unveiled. And the true Noel shatters every secret and blows over every lie, shattering the world. And I dared hope for eternal life. Even though I do not know what that is. I have no fear of hell. I will oppose the king of hell forever. This world itself is hell. I cast my hatred into hell, and it will never be seen again. The silence of the world is pertinent, and nothing can ever stop it. Blows over with its wind, follows me forever into the oceans of the wind, and holds on to these winds. You believe they are fleeting, but they are not. They can only caress your skin. And dreams follow me. My heart grows in warmth when the world grows colder, when the anxiety in my mind calms me, when my words caress the world like these winds. And all I will ever do is fly through this world, dreaming about better ones, always growing with my passionate heart. Despite coughing up in the cold and the panic that grips my body, nothing will ever stop me. And all I will do is wait for the sun to rise in this world and for the world to arise. And I know you see me in your dreams, giving you feelings you thought you would never feel. The glowing heart of mine flows forever in unison, following my pain forever and basking in its memory after it is gone. All I will ever do is hold you closer, if only in dreams, if only in a memory, where passion flows forever. The resurrection we crave will never be found in this world. We will always glow on forward forever in its torment. Keep me close and hold me and never let go. I said goodbye to my fear, and I fell asleep on a park bench, and I let all seasons pass until the sun rose. And then I went home on the train again and slept in the darkness of my room without the desire to leave, anxious about the forces that thrive outside my home. So I decided to board up my windows and not to leave. Words from books I would never read because all of them were death, and all they told were lies. Within this lecture hall, we heard nothing else. We were glowing in our torment. The world fades into misery, and I retreat as far as I can away from it, so that no one can find me, and no one can torment me, and remind me of the dark path the world has followed. It is better to reject the world and hope for the one you've been dreaming about than to live in a fallen or dark world. Gleefully, follow me into the future. Hold my heart and open these wounds forever. The life in my veins grows on forever, and I envision other times and places in history. I see wars and not only horrible things, but also great moments of discovery and exploration, of finding what we never knew we would be able to find, dreaming of other times and places that only exist in these dreams. And I never wanted to leave these dreams. All I wanted was to explore the other world and see all the beautiful sights in it. The glorious sunrise of life is all I dreamed about, a brighter and colorful sunrise. Unlike anything we have ever seen so far, the memory of the past glows on forward forever. The life in my heart follows me in its eternal memory. A desire only to reach out toward the sky and to feel something more than what I'm feeling now, to hold you like the generous morning, sleeping in the sea, surrendering to its secrets, knowing that there is more to the world than I will ever know. The shock that consumes us when the uncertainty of life falls over us, and we never know which direction to walk, or whose name to call, or if the world will always be blind. And I can never tell if the world is growing darker, or if I myself am growing blind. Hold me closer, forever, like an eternal angel who will always be held by the breath of these winds, carried by its current, angered by the slight gust of passion. Follow me into these oceans of this same passion, where I will surrender to its current and be drifted off somewhere. And in this place I can finally find rest. And the ever-consuming waves submerge me. Water was my only escape, and it was the only one thing I knew I would always be able to hold, always have to experience, and its touch was unforgettable. The reason and passion and tempest to these storms in the sea let me know that they might take me away somewhere. I can find peace there, and I will be able to be the champion of all broken hearts. And I know deep in my soul that there is indeed a way to escape from this universe. The iron walls of the universe that we thought were impenetrable are actually paper thin. Like the walls between us, all of them are paper thin. We break through them so easily and become one with the passing breeze, going through all the worlds with this same ease. In the same passion, because nothing will be able to stop us. Once this very passion has consumed us, and we are drifted off forever, like the waves that guide us, and the riptide that bows to us, and honors our requests and commands, and follows our every whim and demand. And this is very dangerous, yet at the same time, our passion floods all these oceans and guides them, grips these oceans by the reins, and the storm grows more passionate. And when the lightning strikes the water, I can see through this world. And I can see all other universes with my weary eyes. And my heart is weary from experiencing the pain of all souls. I break through these paper walls with the sledgehammer of my heart and flow forever through these oceans, seeing all other worlds. One day I will show you how to experience these things. But then I wake up and I believe my experiences in the storm of the worlds was only a dream, and likely I will never be able to escape from this realm again. The morning sweeps away all my dreams like the melting of the winter snow by the summer heat, all traces of it gone. And all we know is that in its own time, in its own season, and eventually these memories burn up like the dying stars. The memory of the world itself will fade, and no traces of the world will be found. But in its time, we are so worried about the experiences of this world, following its anxiety forever, and we are unable to let this anxiety go. We tread forward forever into nightmares, and the world is swallowed by these nightmares until it can no longer breathe. The lights of the bridge guide us to a place where we understand the meaning of forever and hold it close to our hearts. The passing fires go out forever and never light up this room again. This chamber where we only have so much time to read and to ingest the knowledge about the world, about how to quell its anger and prevent it from lashing out at us bitterly. My heart grows in its anxiety, falls after every trend, and breaks through with tears every time it is threatened, and holds in its own swell oceans which calm it and reach its shore with gentle waves that reach us forever and fill our hearts with water, which is always the antidote for the poison of this world. The light of the morning calms me, And I know that everything in this world must have a source in something good, and that the shadows eventually must fade, and that there is no way that the song of the sparrow will fade. It will ring out forever, with no other voices are heard, and all that is left is the sparrow's voice. So that we know that the promise was true, and the sparrow will be provided for forever by God, and that we ourselves are worth more than many sparrows. Passion flows forever and never ends. I am unique. I flow with passion. My eloquent voice spreads forever, aims to bring the world peace and salvation, and a place of rest, just like the one I am searching for, dreaming on the floor of the oceans which I have surrendered to. All I will ever do from now on is crave the warmth of the man I never met, crave resolution, and to listen to the voices of those who never spoke my name. The life in this world glows forever, even though sometimes this life, and the voices that carry this life by its winds are muzzled. Our favorite songs in other lives, in other universes, are never heard except in those worlds, which I can only see as shadows when I surrender to the silent seas and watch the storm of the worlds light holes in the world through its lightning, allowing me to see other worlds, which I can only see as shadows when I surrender to the silent seas and watch the storm of the worlds light holes in this world through its lightning, allowing me to see other worlds, and to breathe in other worlds, and to smell them, but only briefly. And I am never able to hear these other worlds. All that exists of them is the brief notions of these worlds. They are never felt in a full sense. All they do is fade and never return to us. My heaven glows forever, where all of these worlds exist. But no one can ever tell me if I am hallucinating or seeing the truth. The storm of the worlds is a curtain that is drawn back, allowing me to see all other worlds. The ceiling above my head caves in and gives way to the heavens, which flows forward to its own kingdom as its own peaceable future, its own complete and utter rhythm that patters on forward forever, like the drops of rain that sometimes patter against my face. And I pray to the one who made the stars from which the rain falls, and the one whose passion flows eternally and springs out to everlasting life. The passion in my mind is a cassette that shows you the truth in the world. You only have to play me to hear my voice, and it will let you know all the secrets of its same passion and of its escape, and its never-ending wielding of dreams. The glory of escape and of surrender, and describing what is indescribable. The simple, rational surrender of the concrete and malleable oceans that always are submerging me in the life in its fullness was all that I craved. And this life can never be found here in darkness. We will only thrive within this world, and our passion will spring out and grow forever. Our words repeating in their anthem and their spray forever, reaching out to your heart until your heart is finally touched, and you can hear this heartbeat billions of times until we are all conscious of the ultimate stakes we deal with, in that we lose all worlds. If we lose, all worlds lose. In that the Lord of Shadows must be defeated, and the true crown will be resurrected, and the lamp will light up the throne of shadows, and guide all to realize that its only power was that it was a place to sit, and that there was no other magic or authority behind it. Once illuminated, we knew that it was powerless, and could not stop us from achieving our peace and finding a place in this world where once again we can rest, if only for a short time. And I know the future calls me in its cadence, its melody far-reaching, and surrendering to me its secrets, boiling over with its patient wind. which always reaches me and tells me everything I need to know about the future. My heart torn open forever, so that you can examine it and see the truth in my words. Throwing rocks to the water and watching them skip as stones, our hearts would never find forgiveness for the pain we caused, except somewhere far away from here. That is wherever hearts rest. But our hearts are always vulnerable to more pain, and more vicious scars that fall over them and break them until they can no longer move. We are always broken much more easily than we would like to be broken. Our rebel hearts are worn on our sleeves for all to see, with words of the Gospels written on these hearts. Good news of the kingdom, which we have never seen, but can only dream that exists somewhere away from here, somewhere alive and well, and all we ever do is dream of this kingdom and of the world that this kingdom inhabits. And this kingdom floods every single broken and empty crevice in this world, begging us to explore the crevices, always so much more to learn, to feel and to experience. My heart explores more every moment in this world, glowing with passionate song and praise. In flow, the flow and rhythm of the city will always call me. The city itself is eternal, flowing on and glowing with its passion and arduous labor to draw all those from all the universes to this city, where they will experience all good things, the cassette tape of mine that you would listen to. You play it and experience it and ruminate over it, all of your darkest moments, flowing forward with your own heart and filling your heart with many experiences that I experience in my life. And you dream about the storm of the world, but you know that you will never find this portal. It will always be so unreachable and so far from you and unable to find, always distant and never close, flowing far forever. Always desperate hearts glow forward in their memory and in their silence when they are gone. But here I am, dreaming of the feelings I might feel in the future. If only I could surrender to these seas and let them drift me off somewhere new, where I know I will never have to worry about the future or worry about spiritual panic again. The sparrow guides me to this place of rest, and all we are in dreams is our true selves, beyond who we were when we were separate. In dreams we are united, and I say your name, and it is sweet on my tongue. And we are not separate, we are together, in union, holding on to the strings that hold the world together, bowing to no one but the one who made the passing breeze, accepting as family those who have gone before and experienced the same breeze, and let it fill me with ecstatic song. My whole self is exonerated when I feel the passion of this breeze, but eventually I know all of us will return to the dirt and feel the same winds caressing the corners of our skin. When this skin becomes dust in the wind, dispersed across the world, ever flowing, never stopping, always in union with the things that with those that we've never met. The heaviness of our hearts makes them hard to carry, but our words are enough in this world. Our words carry us to where we want it to be. The passion of embracing the books and studying their words and experiencing their adventure and becoming the heroes of the passing world. Knowing that in our world there are no such heroes, and that we must be those heroes. The Gospels in our souls, we held as tattoos on our skin, which no one could read but God himself, which were not experienced except in memory, that we ourselves could not recall. Your heart and mine were close. Your anthem was mine. Your dreams came alive when I dreamed. Because of this union, no one in the world would stop us. As long as we were together, and the fallen nature of this world would never be redeemed, it seemed. Our scars were illuminated in the darkness, because they glowed even more brightly in the dark, and in the broad daylight we could not notice them. But I am the patient memory that passes in the same world, and no one will ever hold on to me but the breeze itself, knowing that we all fall victim under this world, and all that will happen in the future is our return to God, and that this same breeze carries our remains all across the world. The Psalms in my life were patient, and all songs and poems guided me toward this moment. I would sit outside and gaze into the light of the sunrise, dreaming about the future and all the lament that it would bring, the hardship, the passion of the night, the exhilaration of the day. And all we would ever have would be the weariness of the morning that comes over us, and the comforting voice that falls over us, like an everlasting shroud surrounding us, so that nothing can penetrate it and destroy how we feel. Because all we are forever is the same dust that we see in this wind. And all we can do for right now is decide what to do with our time and how to share our charity with the rest of the world, knowing that the union of hearts comes together and grows when we can hold each other. But all these things are only dreams, and all I will ever do is fall forever into the memory of sunlight, which fades forever in the summer into winter. And the extremes of emotion in this world are all that we feel, feeling nothing else but the most powerful emotion in the world, and we are unable to control these emotions. The sparrow's song in the distance, and I can barely hear the song, but still I follow it to where we can rest and enjoy the anthem of the song, and hold it so that we will never forget its memory.